This is interesting because a lot much, I think people are waking up after Kalama business, dropshipping and so many other business ideas. It's important to have, especially starting up. We start up, we say in as an example. What do you think into important for you in that process of you starting up, or maybe you understand what this is gonna be the same, so or we're not gonna make money for the next coming 5 months or even 6 months or whatever period. What do you think is important there?
I think imele kunto kube beyond imali. I think iyo into ezoyenza ube into ezoyenza ukuthi like ube consistent. If you don't have a reason beyond imali, then imali mayingekho, you won't have any reason to wake up. That's the first thing. You have to decide what is. Yabo like maba define sometimes like entrepreneur bazothi it's someone who sees a problem afuna ukusolve. Yabo. So like you need to have that attitude. Yokuthi ayiphi problem ngamampela ofuna ukusolve. Yes, imali important, you need to think about it, but you first have to have that. And then that's going to be the core of why you are doing what you are doing. Then the rest, which is the money. Then how can you monetize solution yako? Yeah. Then you start thinking about those things. But the reasoning behind why you want to do something, you're important.
Yeah.
Welcome to Kasringa's podcast. Today is what it is introduce. I ain't introduce.
Why?
I think it's fair to introduce within the Ngabobani. What do you do Nenzani? Your holiday ngaka.
Your holiday today?
You know, we are still going on my holidays.
Holiday for lava abasasegu leave. Thina sachilile manje.
Abantu abajabulayo,
abantu abayiphethe. So leave always.
Oh, you can tell that.
Leave is when you are asleep, yeah. Maule, like if you manage to fall asleep, then you are on leave.
Mara besuvuka ngo2 nama ideas. Ngimele wabhale phansi.
2 o'clock episode.
2 o'clock episode.
I think my first question would be, what does it take to be an entrepreneur, especially in Mzansi? Looking at the high unemployment, looking at ingcosi ezingeke ziyevarsity this year because akuna budget inasifasa akuna mali. Looking at household weight, they are living below 1.5 ngenyanga. What does it take? Since nina nise gaming yakhona. That's why ngithe ngizothuseni nenzani. So that abantu banazi ukuthi what do you do ngabobani nhlala ba.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I think it's only fair which is introducing.
Yeah.
So mina nguthokozile Mngomezulu, otherwise known as Sis T. Kama nisibongo njalo. Yeah, and then it's me co-founder of Bohloeki, where we partnered Mpho to start this business. Yeah, we still classify as a small business, as Oshoguti in the journey in the field of entrepreneurship. Silap. We are still even classified as a startup still. So that's who we are outside of everything else. But I think it can be the important little part.
Yeah.
Looking at what we are going to talk about today. Yeah.
Okay. Ni co-founder nam eBohloeki Mpho kwena. Awusithoko ukhulume yonke into we shin. Or what we do is we do laundry. Swash impahla. We dabble into cleaning as well. And then part of laundry we do sneaker, we do blankets. What else do we do?
Yeah.
We sometimes organize.
Yeah.
Do that sometimes. That's what we do. Mainly. We are in the business of getting things clean.
And what does it mean for Nina to do that? What do you mean clean? So you mean for Nina? If you need to keep a house clean or means laundry and that.
Yeah.
Because typically we think I'm sevenzo abafazi loyo, mele wenzo abafazi. So for Nina, maybe what does it mean ukuthi nenze lo msebenzi as ispan, not as into yenze endlini?
Which vela is interesting ngoba mawuzo particularly laundry. Mawuzo yenze endlini. Okay, ever since sisinto sinale business le. Manyenza mina laundry endlini. it is something completely different. I think the way we have structured the process here to your laundry, ne? Sometimes most you can't duplicate the process layer. Like literally intention is to get things clean. Number one, I know abantu baba nento ukuthi kumele afterwards zinweka mnandi yabo, like stay soft, kumele sizwakale kakhulu. But first priority is to get the stuff clean. Ngize ngifeel nga sometimes obsessed ngamasokisi.
Amasokisi.
Yo like amasokisi abantu abaningi, yeah, like abawashi kahle yabo. So we get in there and we get amasokisi clean. Yeah.
So ngathi new challenges has been what amasokisi.
No, yes, to give you background kahle kahle ukuthi into ye laundry, if I should put it that way, injenge end result of something that we've just started seeing masqala sikhuluma into ukuthi siqala business. Just from the word, the name of business yethu Bohloeki kusho ukuthi cleanliness, kuhlanzeka, ubuclean, yabo. So when we came about igama lethu, we were looking at izinto ezi frustrating for a lot of things that were frustrating for us. One, sine background yokusebenza. We were in corporate, and then we just thought of the things that take away time. But we're looking at a family, we're looking at a community, we're looking at an individual. And then sabona ukuthi people lose connectivity or relations, as we sakhuluma earlier, because of izinto eziconsume isikhathi somuntu. One would be laundry, cleaning up the house, and then you find ukuthi there are situations where a person is not a clean person by nature. For a woman especially, asibeke kanjalo ngoba iba a bit unfair for women if umuntu wesifazane avilapha kuba ngathi khona ngathi uphukile ngathi konke wrong ngayo. And then you find ukuthi if she can afford to hire people to clean, to take laundry yakhe to the laundromat, still she gets labeled ngendlela engekho kahle. But then Tina, looking at the bigger picture, sibone ukuthi lo busy for women or lo absent for umuntu family yakhe ngoba abhizinala ama-chores. It creates all these other issues that we are living with namhlanje.
And tell me sort of your typical clients abazayo that have ngathi problems in terms of them impahla nani and so forth, amasokisi, ngithanda le amasokisi ngoba thina amasokisi amajita bayazi hlezi nginuka isokisi for no reason. Yeah, so what are sort of my client afikayo, but let laundry njani? Is it oily? Is it typically indlu into ukuthi abantwana family nje, typical household, or is it zokuthi maybe firm balethi laundry lapho? How does it work?
It's a variety, yes.
Yeah. And there's a situation of the people that we do have and the people we wish to have when it comes to Indiama clients. You variety njengoba Mpho, there's umuntu single or sebenzayo or young professional. There's an old person or often you keep her clean or clean. There's like a prefers laundry. There's a family. Umuntu lethi laundry yakhe, family yakhe, and there's just these people who are just incapable of keeping their things clean. Yeah, but like a variety nje of abantu abaza nama laundries wabo and na different things, ama challenges is faced nawo ngabo. There's people who abakhulile abanezinto super dirty as again khona iwashing abantwana abancane abanolayo abadlala enhlabathini. So yeah, like, but you know what we've embraced, we brace ourselves with is we are just open. Ukuthi whatever comes to us is Ohamba in its best.
I'm sorry for the call.
That's it, yeah.
So.
Live. We'll be like,
yeah, but I want us to go back. You need to keep up corporate. I know this is a very important question for a lot of guys abafuna ukuphuma corporate. Nina nikhishwe yini to naze naba courageous nathi you want to start a business, looking at the way economy ngakhona anihalela ukubuyela corporate. By the way, that's the second question.
For imali consistent.
I think It's the
salary
only thing.
consistent,
Salary,
yeah.
ezoba khona either or.
Yes,
Yeah.
whether you are showing up completely or you are not, just for the mere fact yokuthi uvule laptop answer ama emails nje phela for you competent enough sometimes.
Okay.
Yabo.
Yeah.
You find that you don't even deliver the way you're supposed to, but ke
So
isalary
into and
ikhona.
keep.
No, saying I should, like in terms of if I were to go back
back,
there.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like khona I don't necessarily think ukuthi wonke umuntu o sebenzayo they are competent emsebenzini wabo. Yabo. But ikhona into ukuthi because of umsebenzi you are shield. Yabo, and you don't have to show up every day all the time like you would in a business.
Yeah.
Yabo, like business mongavula ngayikho imali. Yabo. So kunto mawusebenza mawuzilalele waya ku doctor what sick note
Uzohola for that day.
Places.
yabo.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, if I were to think ukuthi what would be the reason, but I think manje I'm actually fully comfortably at the place where money alone wouldn't make me go back to working for or corporate. Money alone, I think instead I'll just have to think of something else that would allow me to generate revenue, but not necessarily be tied down in a situation yokusebenza kube, and not necessarily lento yabo 9 to 5 office hours, but nje yes, there's this freedom. Ne? Sometimes ngakufika uphuwa futhi.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't have a price tag. And I mean freedom, I ngoba freedom yokuthi you are free to sleep mafuna ukulala. You are free to wake up ngo2 and work on your business. It's freedom still nakhona, of which I think a level of commitment that you would never have working for umuntu. And not only do I appreciate it ngami with the stuff that we've had. And sometimes ingenza ngibe lenient or forgiving to go ngoba I remember when I was like that, when I just didn't care, and I would say, like, typical example nje, when you would use the phone yase office umuntu akufona uthi hayi drop your phone zokufona mangifike office ngoba you don't have to pay for it. And like now if a person does the TP les agim direct.
Yeah.
So it's the little things nje but engibona ukuthi it just changes you as a person. Completely, and it goes with your maturity. So it would be a great experience if one would have experience along, so that even as an employee, you bring your best and but you understand everything that it takes for you to have a job. Yabo. So I think it changes the dynamic lab.
And what are sort of the things you took from having a 9 to 5 and then was applied to your business? And
a lot.
Yeah, it could be communication skills. Maybe.
Yeah,
what are sort of
it's a lot.
The structure. So I remember before Sikala business, we used to have ama conversations about the type of business we want to have. Yeah, but so mabheke lokushini sometimes akuvulwa. Kuvulwa ngo9. Kuvalwa anytime. Kuba ne situation yokuthi kuyabloma. Yabo akuna a sense of ukuthi sivukile and sisemsebenzini. I think that was the number one thing. It's just for the corporate, yes, is that mauti ngiyemsebenzini uyageza even if usebenza next door. Uyageza ubaklini, you go there. Awuphumi ngo1 uthathe ilunch ye 2 hours ngoba usegas, like you don't do that. And sayivuma sina Soweto, and then when we started having a team, that is exactly the sort of conversations we were having now. And then nama skills again, yabo. Kama computer skills, communication, structuring, umsebenzi process, workflow, yabo, putting together my documents, all those things.
Yeah.
Into
I discuss a workflow. I think mhlambe if you break it down high level, how you structured, like started through a process where go to Pumi corporate. Now we're having an idea to talk about business. How did you go about? I don't want to know about the CIPC, all of that. Funa the flow, the structure. Structure. This is how we're going to work. This is the amount of employees we're gonna have. Based on a process or a flow. How we organize it. High level, if you still recall.
One, I don't even think we had it finally. What we had, to be clear, Oguti, besifuna a lot of things that we didn't want to see in our business. One, culture logish, business as a location. Two, the abuse we've encountered Tina, go corporate. We didn't want to bring that, no business in it. And 2 and 3, as easy to tell the truth, you can dream of them and plan them, but they just don't happen. Mobile business is going to take you where it's going to take you. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that we see which we should have prepared for, but we didn't. We didn't know what is over. Instead, let's business gabanga, but we into if it's safe to say a business is far good cloud, but not really being sober to is into ezenzeka. So to some degree, iyaqgilaza umuntu ukuthi uzoplana to the T. Ngoba ezinye izinto they're just going to surprise you. Uyabo ngoba like besaxoxa the other day ukuthi we are almost 5 years a business in. And had you told us siqala ngale excitement and nale ama plans besinawo ukuthi we might find ourselves not being able to pay our salaries, all these other challenges esihlangabezana now will be like bokuzobekwenzakaleni ngoba thina si ama business people. But then I think it's only the experience and the allow to go through izinto ukuthi zikufundise than ukuthi uyivalue business. Like there's a thing yokuthi ama small businesses will survive 3 years. And if you did survive 3 years, kusho ukuthi the potential to grow. But you find ukuthi njengoba ngisho ukuthi we are almost 5 and ziyakhala. Like zikala show. Engicanga ukuthi maybe this should even be the time la we would even think ukuvala. But we are not gonna.
You survived even nange COVID.
And I know we survived. We are surviving. And mhlambe sisazo survive kuyaphambili, but into a common for the both of us ukuthi angesivale. Into siyaziyo ile. So I think maybe that's one thing that keeps us.
It's the intention. Yabo before like you make an intention yokuthi what do you want to get out of this? And I think tonight be clear njengoba sithoka asho be clear ukuthi asifuna ukuvala. Asifuna ukuvala. It's either we can pivot and look at how do we provide the service ehlukile or maybe add on ama services, but having this business Bohloeki, we were like yabona leyo ihleli ukuthi asivali at all.
Give me some examples, man. You survive kanjani during no, she says bengizobuyela way back maybe after COVID, not before COVID, but it's too far. Manje during I know needs laundry and obviously machines zizalana ngogesi. What are the sort of challenges in nazo that we are still surviving? Because
November best
gesi unokuvawuma 8 hours. How are you like operating? How are you
clients? Besivali ngo November because of area yethu bebayicimela ugesi. So the whole of November we didn't operate. I think ugesi ubuye around December. That is when besivula. We had salaries to pay, rent to pay. At least izinto ezingathi ziset lezo ezithu ekumele sinje ukuthi ziyabhadalwa. At least ezinye it's a situation yokuthi we pay them as we go along. Like you use them, then you pay for them. But those two are the main things. They keep the business going and he priority number 1 at all times. So basically, and you need to allow oxygen. You sometimes just have to sit like because sometimes I think you ulwa to a point ukuthi umoshe futhi yonke into. We had a lot of options. We were getting advice from everywhere. But I think because of it was so overwhelming, it was very tough. 2023, it was very tough. It was overwhelming. It was like, okay, let's take a break. As pumule, as hlale phansi, let's reflect. Let's think about where we want to take the business. Sifuna ukube kanjani ngo 2024, and that's what we did.
This is interesting because a lot manje, I think people are waking up afuna uqala ama business, drop shipping and so many other business ideas. Into obonakala ukuthi it's important to have, especially starting up. We start up vuka ekuseni utazi ngifuna ukuvula ikhawash as an example. What do you think into important for you in that process of you starting up? Or maybe you understand what this is gonna be the same, so or you're not gonna make money for the next coming 5 months or even 6 months or whatever period. What do you think is important there?
I think imele kunto kube beyond imali. I think yiyo into ezoyenza into ezoyenza ukuthi like ube consistent. If you don't have a reason beyond imali, then imali mayingekho, you won't have any reason to wake up. That's the first thing. You have to decide what is. Yeah, but like Maba definer sometimes like entrepreneur, it's someone who sees a problem, often we solve. Yeah, but so like you need to have that attitude. You would see a problem often we solve. Yes, it might be important. You need to think about it, but you first have to have that, and then that's going to be the core of why you are doing what you are doing. Then the rest, which is the money. Then how can you monetize solution yako? Yeah. Then you start thinking about those things, but the reasoning behind why you want to do something is important.
Yeah, and go unfortunate ukuthi the notion of hustler only speaks to the money of ubane business. But if you look at it, if kumampela reason why would a person leave a good paying job and do this? I would like go by angazi profession engayibala that you can solemnly do and gain much in a corporate world. Also bank tell. Yeah, so I bank tell akusinto ngathi mhlawumbe uqala ungayenza kube uwenje uzoqala ibank yakho ekhaya. And then maybe to move on to being a chef or a baker. Yeah, well, like there's literally no money at the beginning also and most probably maybe you are going to spend a lot of money in getting your product out there and getting people to taste it. But usuke unale reason beyond. And it's not just you make sure you have this nice cake to taste, but maybe it's the feeling attached to that. Maybe it's the healing that comes with that. Like you have to have that bigger than you reason for you to start whatever that you want to start, so that it's sustain when if we go to let's say a business around feeding people, things like that, and then you come across into you community around when community ehlupekile bese kuba ukuthi as long as one person goes to bed at least, that's enough for you. That might mean you didn't make any money out of it, but that thing when we funai what you stand for so I think you have to identify that. So I think there was a time la besi attend my classes with strategize business yet, and then that's when we were, if I'm correct in Akon, we were introduced to that way of thinking, how, why, and what. Remember the thing, and then I think that really was the turnaround. Your entrepreneurship. Hence, manje sozothola ngathi kuna different types of entrepreneurs. Laba aba solemnly in it for the money, of which it's not wrong, but then laba aba solemnly in it for the purpose. Mara, I just feel it's important to you can't just classify as one of these two. Instead, you have to find a way to marry the two. Ngoba, how do you be an entrepreneur and not make money?
I think between, because what I'm getting like is there is this hustle culture. There is entrepreneurship. These two are not the same thing. Maybe hustle culture is about what can I do now to mali manje and bounce. Entrepreneurship is more of I'm gonna stay longer and this is the problem I'm gonna solve for much longer than the hustle. Because manje pushy hustle. It's about what can I do no manje, get my money, run away, get this, get my bag, get the bag and manje, a lot of bangena kule hustle culture, and it doesn't seem as if I understand entrepreneurship.
Yeah, ngoba it fails to, it takes away into yokusustain, into ye legacy, into yokubuilda, into yokuqala into that will be beneficial to a lot of people at a later stage. It takes it away. Ngoba like if ukunengqondo yokuhustla umuntu okustock uthengisa and then kuphela ama ice then stock amabhoko, phela amabhoko then stock icathulo. Yabo like move kanjalo like there's no way la ubuild khona long enough ukuthi uthi okay bengistock icathulo, let me see if I were to manufacture. Manufacturing already takes it to a different level. It speaks to a factory, a firm, a bigger firm, skill, the people you are going to get, or move from selling shoes to creating shoes and every other thing that you will create in that journey. So gonna go unfortunate to when people are looking to get more money in their bags, they are looking for something instant and a quick for one. But then failing in a journey of entrepreneurship, yes, it starts with you. But your goal is to take these people along with you. And knowing ukuthi, and not just in South Africa, I think in the world nje yonke, it's only entrepreneurs are create economy, are creating imisebenzi. Ngoba we look at, we call it corporate manje, bank. If Standard Bank, FNB, it was someone's dream. Njengoba manje ithatha abantu abangaka ibaqashile. So if Tina, we are going to all walk away from logo ubesentweni ukuthi ngizostore ngithengise nalo uyazostore khona la kathengise ukuphi la kuzobuildwa khona. But labantu bonke kufanele babe ni supplier number 1. So i-supplier here that stands to make this big thing la zoqasha khona abantu with the intention of building and growing and having a legacy to leave behind. So yeah, I think into yokuhustler iropa le is ropa of that. Yabo is ropa and igijima ni generation yamanje should put that way. Ukuthi kuba khona into lokuthi fanele kuyenze into ibonakala result manje mayingayenzeki then ishiyile. Kanti it's not everything ezoyenzeka overnight. Ezinye into zifuna consistency, zifuna patience, zifuna nawe ukuthi ube skilled up. Ngoba uqala into une passion but then you find ukuthi you lack knowledge of a lot of things in that one thing that you turned down. Yabo. Yeah, so yeah, it takes it away. And
njoba usho, if you are starting something nge passion and then along the line uyabona ukuthi awuyazi akusho ukuthi kumele uyeke. Like I think sometimes we want to do, you're getting excited, so as soon as the excitement wears down, then you feel like it's not for me anymore. But so commitment, it's having a vision engekho attached necessarily to ama emotions wakho ngoba bazokukhila abantu. Umhlaba uzokukhila mara you need to stay ubheke vision yakho ukuthi okay, this is what I want. Maybe for a family yami, maybe for a community yami, but you need to want something that is beyond ama emotions wakho and beyond wena. And yo unfortunate njengoba sisho asho ukuthi especially with the younger generation, I feel ngathi okay nami young, but anyway
si young sonke ngoba si under 65.
I feel ngathi
young adults.
I feel ngathi we don't want to make a contribution. And into i-contribution asimali nje kuphela. Sometimes contribution ukuba yabo like endlini, khona abantu abaletha imali, khona abaklinayo, khona umunye uyapheka. Like you need to contribute something based on ama capabilities wakho. Yabona endlini khona umuntu ozothi mina ngisanye ngidlale kungadlwanga. Yinto yakhe, like uyayithatha lento lenza sure ukuthi angashoda kwezinye izinto but yena identify that one thing. Omunye uzothi angiyehlala ngamakidneys aso. So you need to identify something that bothers you and then want to make a contribution towards making it better. I think wonke umuntu capable of being an entrepreneur. Like I think so. It's a skill that you can learn. However, you need to have into ukuthi I want to also contribute. Wena, not scheme wena. This is what I want to contribute to this one situation. Yeah.
I think it's a generation of lazy problem solvers. Why lazy? Because of we solve things via my app. Everything into instant gratification. Ufuna ukusolva, ufuna ukudla manje. App ukudla kuyazi. You solve your problem of hunger. But going back to something initial in terms of, I think I'm a business which we as black people, they are not down the value chain where we own the raw material. I think in somewhere like Paratin, where if somebody run laundry, I get umuntu owner machine yenza ama laundry. Like it's like big companies, those companies they are owned by ilaba abanye abantu. As own it in the raw material. Where we build from scratch and then up the value chain where manje sesenza even more money. Mina ama Vaseline la siwagcobisa la. Owner isasolile, yebo. So I think ama business avelayo manje. They are sort of lapis. They are not owning anything. And I'm saying this because of the idea kulma uchika onyeni we capitalist negothi thina we are people of consumption. State is consumer all the time. We don't produce anything.
And Interestingly, ngoba angithi like when you are in business, you always look at what other small businesses are doing. Mina, especially for manufacturing, I've seen a growth for me. You know, like just enjoy on the ground. Yeah, you'd see abantu like agro processing. Yabo muntu unto uthatha ijam uzenzela ijam abanye they are going as far as getting a shelf.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Pick and Pay. Yabo. So I don't necessarily want to be too hard on us as abantu. I feel ukuthi yonke into izoza step by step. Yabo. So umuntu uzobe azenzela ijam yakhe ase kitchen endlini. Abanye bayenza ichathulo baqhashe nje kuphela icontainer nyana bashaya ichathulo lapho. Yabo. Yes, it's not a big company la seba maybe seba things China or something.
Yeah.
However, they are starting. Yabo. I think now it's looking at how do we elevate that? How do we encourage even more people to get into that? And if into ezinjalo, ithatha isikhathi. Yabo, asinto ozothi ngithenga ngiyenza today kusasa iyanto iyathengisa. You sometimes have to learn first how to do the thing. Then you have to establish the business. Then you still have to learn how to run the business. Yabo. Masoqhasha abantu, you need to learn how to manage abantu. Yabo, so kuba ama skills amaningi and azokuthatha a bit of time.
Yeah.
Ukuthi sifike lapho. Yabo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bengithi it ties back to what I was talking about. Lento leyo yokupusha the end result must be. So igcina ithatha away from ekubekezeleni in building a thing. So ngoba if you are a manufacturer, number one fanele ukwazi ukuthi into osebenza ngayo kusinto yenzeka overnight. Yabo. Yeah, really depending on the processes, and not only that, depending on the equipment that you are using. Yabo. We are challenged to some degree food mind when you think of manufacturing, looking at the technology, what it comes up with now. So you need to be careful ukuthi ungathuqala bese ba instinct zibekwa. So fanele uthi mawuqala uzazi ukuthi uyayibona I longevity kulento yenzayo. So sinale challenge futhi again. And people ba prefer kona vele ukuthi ba move with the technology than vice versa or against the technology. So now I robber abantu ability to think and create from endaweni esihlukile.
Asibuyele back now. Corporate nihambile nibashiye ngeinkinga zabo. You started your own. Manje nidinga ama-employees. What was the hiring criteria? Benibheka ini? That one is important because I know at some point nami in my students udinga some guys or ladies abazosiza nge-editing or nge-shooter. What were the things enizibhekile? And also the location, it's important.
Yeah. Okay, if I could just answer one thing about HR, so she will speak a lot on this. But it's one thing footy that you are going to have to learn as you grow. Ngoba hiring yakho is about different when you start and as isn't those harm. Tina Nati, we had to grow to learn that, and most probably the hard way. Yoguti ufundu guti, why are you hiring people? There's a time when you hire people, and that's a big no. And then that you have to first interrogate why are you hiring. I think it's important, and be brutally honest to yourself. Why are you hiring? Are you just here ngoba so sentweni yokuthi you are pulling people over, or is it for the growth of the business? So I think kakhulu, especially as an entrepreneur, when if possible, be involved as little as you can. It's unfortunate about you have to do the hiring. You tend to think from an emotional place, either attached to the business or attached to the notion of which you are creating employment. And then liquidify all your objectives when it comes to hiring. So it's difficult. I think it changes with the times, with the size, and with what you're looking for at that time. But ngogo policies and all that. Mpho will speak on that. HR, you need to be sober on that part.
So ngizoyithatha from a point of which you need to make sure that you understand why you are hiring. Especially in terms of budget. I think sometimes we have you want to create employment depending on the type of person you are. I think like Tina, ama values wethu is to take care of abantu. Like mina no so share that one value. So when you think that you are making a little bit like little bit of money, you're like, hi man, azinsidinga abantu abadinga ukusebenza. Yabo. But again, you need to make sure that you have a budget, even if it's for the next 12 months. Or so uzibonile for the next 12 months ukuthi ikhona excess esalayo. You are getting a salary when number one. Abantu mabasho kanjalo ngithi bekungasi story. You are first, you are getting a salary number one. Then you can extend because you can't give from a place of zero. You can't.
How long did it take Nani's holidays?
No, there you story.
Still not. No, Tina futhi enye into ke, and this will always be different according to people. Tina, we had our decisions we made. I remember we spoke of saying we are not going to get salaries, we are going to get dividends. Meaning sizoyenza the money kala and then yabo. So and nakhona it wasn't a wrong, it bokungakho wrong. It works for others vele ke mawuni cushion where you know what you are able to take care of your livelihood without getting a salary. So it really solemnly depend on what's your situation. But in all kindness and in sense, it is really looking at when are you able to pay yourself back. And ukuzibhadala kahle yabo. Okay, gona ngeke vele ubhadala insist ukuyohola imali CEO mali ongayenzi. Yabo. So really you have to be realistic to the money you are making so that even when it's time for you to bring people on board, you know what you are looking at I category enjani. Yabo. And then nalogo futhi it speaks to your enhlobeni yomuntu oyi. Ngoba bakhona abantu abashrewd who it's first about them then the others. So obviously percentage kanjalo izohlala ngendlela ehlukile. When they hire people laba abantu bazoba hire and bazobathula abantu bazobasebenzela. Bazoba unhappy and miserable abantu ba change what not but ukusalayo bazoba ne staff. Of which sometimes it's opposite to umuntu ofuna ukugive kakhulu. Ngoba you are always going to give from a place of not having enough and then eventually you won't be able to sustain definitely. Yeah.
Were you only looking at in terms of hiring the location line corner?
Yeah, so it's one of the factors because kule industry sukuyo even salary as a salary enkulu, so you'd want someone ukuthi awoke to work so that they can retain most of into salary. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Then the second thing is we're looking for abantu abakhona ukubhala. Yes, it's sound yeah, like umuntu ozobhala afunde I sentence kahle. Like not like creative writing, no.
Why?
Proper, because sisebenzisa I WhatsApp for your communication. So sometimes you'd need to ubhalele umuntu WhatsApp, maybe khona something yenzeki the client is you'd need to write something, and it's not like fancy corporate English. It's just ukuthi umuntu akhona understand.
It must make sense and spelling.
Spelling like grammar nje
punctuation.
Ungabhali igama lomuntu nge small letter zonke lento lezo. Yes, that, and then someone who's willing to learn. I think begu ama characteristics now ayitrela umuntu yabona unyeza ne mhlambe kini benosis onsizayo and maybe abakufundisanga ukwasha abakufundisanga anything, you can learn that. Yabo. But if you don't have an attitude yokuthi ufuna ukufunda like into soyenza like ayikho at all, and when we are interviewing you can tell from ukhuluma nomuntu ukuthi okay, are they actually open to learning or are they not?
So this one willing to learn, somebody measure kanjani? How do you know somebody is willing to learn? What are sort of things it means big about the individual? Okay, law is willing to learn.
Gonna yabona ngifuna ukuchema ngisona of those things is tricky.
It's the instinct thing where I feel now. Hello.
We used to think kanjalo vele.
But to an extent, but
yeah.
To an extent, like you can. Okay, so one, ne. Sometimes umuntu onyoko willing to learn, they lie. They lie. So and you can sometimes tell when a person is lying. Because if ufuna ukufunda uba an open book, because uzoba upfront to mhlambe I don't know this. Or you sometimes ask a question or yes you when answer yakhona, and then uzoza umuntu uyiphendula kanjani, and then from lapho you can sort of tell ukuthi I'm not sure ukuthi they can be a right fit for thina. Yabo. And then also we're looking at umuntu one attitude yokuthi ngifuna ukusebenza. Yes, kune high unemployment rate, but what I've seen is abantu bafuna benefits yokusebenza but bafuna ukusebenza. And two completely different things. Abantu bafuna call, bayifuna imali, but they are not willing to do the work. Yabo. So if you are not even going to, like, okay, i-process yethu, we would send out a poster, and then umuntu makas contact simsendele Google form. Lapho we were trying to figure out ukuthi yakhona ukubhala, so they will be answering a series of questions. From lapho you can pick up, it's okay, can they write, can they not, yabo. Then we'll have more questions about ama services wethu, just to gauge you in terms of knowledge yakhe on laundry ukuthi hamba leyo if yabo, like we can forgive that. Sometimes you would get umuntu ozokusendela i-message back athi yena ucela ukuletha i-CV yakhe, umchazelile ukuthi you first have to complete a form, you attach your CV go form.
Okay.
So that can tell you ukuthi they are not even making an effort. Yokuthi okay, maybe vele ifoni yami uDocwici ayenzini ithi ngihambe ngiye cafe, or maybe this time angina data ithi ngithenge i-midnight data, and then ngizoset alarm ngivuke ngo2 ngishaye lento le, yabo.
Yeah.
If you really want something, you are going to make an effort to make sure ukuthi uba part of yona. So yabo, like into ezinjalo izinto besizibheka lezo, and then bese kuba i-interview ke i-face to face. Once you have passed through the first stage, then we are going to have into the face to face, where we're just getting to know you ukuthi ubani dynamic yakho endlini, yabo. And then you'd find that sometimes, which is unfortunate, sometimes people with children, they will tend to be more committed than umuntu onyena bantwana, which is unfortunate. And you can tell nje yabo, one uzobona from ukuthi usuke from nomsebenzi lo waya laphayana, or mambuza ukuthi waya shiye laphayana, waya ngisebenzi laphayana, then from nje answer you can tell ukuthi maybe akuna a sense of committing to a thing, yabo. And then also the stigma around ukusebenza laundry, yabo. Sometimes uthathiwa as umsebenzi wenziwa
umzamo nje,
like abantu abangafundanga, abantu abadala, so you can't be young and usebenze laundry. Mara thina ungasebenzela thina, we only hire young people, and we like young people, and they do feel ukuthi ngize emsebenzini, aba feeling ngathi ba iskorobheni. Yabo. So you can even tell from ukukhuluma nomuntu makangena aze ku-interview afaka mpacaphaca, yabo, or awukhoshe ukuthi ugezile, ngoba uyambona ukuthi une-idea yokuthi ithiyozama laphayana, angacabanga ukuthi khona abantu abazoza bagezile, agcoke njengomuntu oze ku-interview.
Sasenzima elokishini.
So
and I think yabona into faneke icatshange kakhulu ama-business owners ukuthi mawuqasha be clear zibeko, yabo. And thina ku-unfortunate ngoba into yethi ifani, yabo auntie, yabona mazoqasha imaid kwakho and then wafika waba addition to the family, so kuphelile professionalism. So masekathatha ikroza half of yona ayanayo kwakhe akufanele ngumangala, ngoba sekafika waba ngathi ubhuti usisomdala wasekhaya. So entweni yethu nathi we really had to really make that clear, of which we continue to do that even to this day, yabo. Ngoba ku very important ukuthi i-part ye-professionalism ihlale i-clear. One, i-change attitude yaloyo muntu leyo ukuthi azitreat njengomuntu oyemsebenzini, hayi umuntu oyemzamweni, yabo. And then it also speaks to mase yabo, like in our situations ne-customer service kakhulu. And elokishini kunelokishi, yabo, like there's a language that you use elokishini, but then at the same time fanele ukwazi ukuthi akusikuthi ngoba lo muntu uyamazi, ngoba phela ngithi sisebenza elokishini sihlala kulo, abantu baqashayo basebenza bahlala la, kulula ukuthi uclocke in for work kungena umuntu ose next door. At that moment fanele ukhumbule ukuthi client elingenile akungenanga lo mama okubhorayo wase next door, or whatever the case may be, ipifeni naye elokishini. So that kukodwa kusetha apart ama businesses, yabo. So it's something that you need to consider mawuqasha, especially elokishini. That really matters ukuthi umuntu angatreat abantu or wena ngokwakho ungatreat abantu ngathi abochumba bakho mabangeni. Baba ma customers who are bringing money to you. So that means service yakho is going to be, it has to be on par. Number one, yabo fanele ube respectful, fanele ube clear, fanele ungazitholi kulento yokuthi hayi uzongibona. Uzongibona maso right, I think enjalo ngoba we are in a business that's running, that you have operational costs. So mawuzobe luyenza izinto uthi uzongibona, then vele angeke usurvive.
Also wanna know ukuthi emalokishini ikhona imali nje, because people think I want to start a business elokishini akunamali, abantu abanamali. Is that a stereotype sokuthi akunamali elokishini, or is it a thing of i-service lo ufuna ukuyenza abantu abayifuni? Ikhona imali
It speaks to that.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to yabo like into guess, ne? There was a time mhlambe bongabe icontainer yakho uthi uzama ukuvula i-business ye guess, and then it wouldn't work. But khona manje it's one of the booming businesses because of load shedding. Yabo, so it's figuring out ukuthi yini into abantu abayidingayo. Yabo, instead of doing something irrelevant and then you get upset. One, sabangani bakho abakusupport, family yakho ayikusupport, the community yakho ayikusupport. You can't get upset because of that. You just have to find a way yokuthi, is it that this business is not suitable for Langkhon? Or is it just nje abantu abaclose game asi ama-client wami? And that's okay. It's okay if family yakho ayithengi go business yakho, because you may find that bona as a client wakho.
Yeah, that is important because a lot get discouraged.
Yes.
See, abantu abathengi la, abantu abamnyama.
Even
kanti into nje yenida ayikho need yayo.
Yeah.
And just to touch on that, it downfall yabantu ama-business owners is you sell what you like. You don't learn what people like and then give them what they like. Yabo. And in that, we've been victims of that. Ukuthi sifuna abantu ba respect ubutlini as we do. Value it. Yabo bakuthanda ubutlini njengoba thina sikuthanda. Until we go to a place yokuthi we are going to meet umuntu la khona. And we are going to be consistent. Angafika umuntu ayifeel pop sithi ngeke ukuhlala kanje wena ngiphatha kanje libhoko lakho liphumele amakhala nana. We are not going to do that. We are going to deal with it. My latest sizoyenza clean. Ihambe kukuyo ukuthi uzothi ngizomba isishazi beclean nami sefane ngizinayeke. No, angeke ashintshe impilo yakhe. Ngeke ashintshe impilo yakhe ngoba ufuna ukusatisfy thina. Thina sizoshaya ispan ahambe yena a-impressed ngempahla zakhe kuphela. We are just going to be there. Yabo. But yile problem ukuthi we as entrepreneurs you want to sell what you like and you want people to be excited ngayo lento leyo as wena excited, can no identify ukuthi ba yini bona that works for them, so that you can capitalize on those things. So that when you in that way at least you are guaranteeing ukuthi uzoba nemali engenayo ngoba people are going to come to you with what they want bona and then they get it. So yi challenge le in just understanding your target and not insisting on creating who you want,
what you like,
but see what's out there and work with that. I think this is
so manje senba on body, like yes, your client your employees. Manje, was there what sort of training made that guy? I'm trying to break it down on a process so that somebody I use your business as a template. These are the stages you need to go through a business. So manje niba qashile. Now laundry is coming in. Nisota kanjani? How does it work?
Okay, so in terms of training the staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now remember, now with the customer coming in,
yeah,
that's very professional.
Yeah,
it's like corporate.
That's what I understand. Yeah.
We that is why go advisable. Good thing ngathi business kuba ukuthi na some work ethic or na some experience of a company enkulu. So that is ubona ukuthi a corporate they overdo things. You could yabo from umuntu oqashwayo unobona ngathi bangitrain iviki lonke lento lemose mina ngiyibona ezibekwa nje day 1 ngizela ngiready yabo like umuntu elondo kuyawasha kuyayinwa like ngibengosha ngayini impilo yami yonke there's processes that administration there's all that the importance of training and the training doesn't mean umuntu yabo njengoba usho ukuthi uqashiwe izolo wahamba jabulile watshela abantu singiyasebenza sasa uyangena ngo8 o'clock ufika beyi-observe a-train be it with us or with the staff esikhona already or mhlambe sizomsendela we are trying to move to that ukuthi sifuna ukuba nento engathi iqala i-course azoyenza atmakeza azisenezinto sekazazi then it's like a practical so that's what we want to move to that's how professional we are but that's the best way of doing things yabo ngoba that allows you to cover everything ngoba khona i-danger yokuthi ma wenza umsebenzi nje okufana njengowethu kulula ukuthi usiyakwazi ukwasha and then uzenza izirong zodwa and then fanele ube surprised ukuthi why kwenzeka into ezirong while you didn't take them njengoba asho Mpho nam for mina ukwasha endlini akusekho lula ngoba I want to do what I do at work and I can't ngoba ama resources and everything endlini awafani nasemsebenzini so I've just decided that I'm never going to do laundry endlini kubest with my hambi so that izothatha the attention it needs ngoba ekhaya things are different so mawuzothatha umuntu uzoletha leyo what they know bona ngewashing yakhe kanti la i-washing laundry for staff sase laundry injenge laptop injenge system injenge program yabo they have to deliver in that manner hayi ukuthi it's just something they do nje generally ngoba bayazi from birth yabo so it's important ke ukuthi kube i-process yabo ungathi uzomala eceleni bese uthi uyenza kanje uyenza no kube i-process clear abe clear ama steps la ufuna umuntu awathathe kube sometimes if it comes to yabo ngwasina we dabble into customer service if you need to have a script have it ukuthi umuntu uthi hi mina ngosibanibani this is what we can offer it's fine ngoba bemele ufika vele bangena background ye customer service so it's important to know exactly lapho ukuthi ufunani depending especially on the position umuntu omqashile kuye ngoba mhlawumbe umunye ufuna ufire ama chips emove they are never going to be in contact with people then that's a different thing altogether mara it's important to understand identify everything that's needed for that role so that umuntu uzomtrain accordingly yabo kungabi into ukuthi usozibonela mos now uyazibonela ngoba things are going to go haywire people are not going to bring the passion and everything that you brought yabona thina khona manje ama client wethu there was a time labo wafila ngathi neglected ngoba thina we go an extra mile you bring the smile you bring this energy nje while stuff says ba like she washing ngwasha yabo bese babona ngathi ba neglected ngoba they were always being cushioned ngoba thina that's how we started our baby yabo and then now for the business owner to understand ukuthi labo baqashile habekho as excited and as passionate as you are so we important with how do you teach that kube a process kube a culture than which ukuthi uzoza naturally ngoba when you are so passionate in your business yakho and you think abanye abantu they embody the same vision so it means you have to put all of that in the training or in the induction of staff sakho ukuthi by the time aqala a-serve client they know exactly who they stand for and what they stand for and they can't lose that and kunama processes endleleni acover lokho ukuthi noma ngabena they don't feel like it but the process yamforced ukuthi leyo into leyenza
and into corporate like that's one of the things I took from a corporate it's the onboarding of into staff not before training yabo yes into training maybe it might form part of into onboarding but you first have to speak on who you are as a company yabo introduce them to who you are and then njengoba thina ke sase hands on uzoba introduced to what we stand for yabo understand it from that perspective ukuthi masocala uthi mawufold into ikipa zonke mawufold imele zilingane angathi ayikho into enjalo and uya forced
it's part of the
process it is yabo sine board osebenzisayo ukuthi ufold
complicated lento lemos
ayikho complicated
no akusizamo
and even upheka yabo there's a way esipheka ngakhona yabona so you'd want first to introduce who you are so that they understand ukuthi why do you have so many demands like of a better way but why do you have so many demands yabo it's because of what you stand for mina I'm not going to lie ngiyathanda izinto ezi seamless most begile they look nice. So I've even taken that to impahla. Like I remember Mascala, we used to have like intense conversations ukuthi no, stay soft, mele sibe singaga. Mele ibe so. Like we used to uthi igown ungayifoldi kanje. Igown ngcono siyifolde so, and then once we make a decision yokuthi this is how we are going to do into, mele sinje show ukuthi wonke umuntu uyenza kanjani.
So I'm assuming each and every material iwashwa different, iphekwa different. Ngasho kanjalo.
Yes,
some degree.
Yeah, because you would
ushuta ama-gown agoqwa ngendlela yawo.
Yeah.
Unlike ikipa.
Yes, yes, yabo. But gona ngithi you would want first priority is to make sure that you take care of the clothes. Ukuthi zingasheshe zimosheke, ngabi konje na bleeding, color bleeding, yabo. Because I abantu abakwazi ukuthi kumele asort out kanjani. So we even do that. Like start from lapho ukuthi how do you sort impahla before uzwasha. Yabo i-process yokuthi how do you pre-treat them, then mawuzwasha, mawu-ayina shirt. Remember sisithobo. Akashaya ama-training amaningi apha. On uku-ayina i-shirt because there is just a way esidinga ukuthi yenzeke ngakhona. Yabo. And then also packing. I used to do a lot of that. Ukuthi so sebenzisa ama-plastic. So you want ukuthi mawuphekile impahla zingafoli. Yabo off ngoba mase umuntu asathathify udropini zobe shwabene. So you need to pack them in such a way ukuthi ziyama nje kuphela zima straight noma zime lapha ngeplastic. Yabo.
Any man wenza lo msebenzi.
We've
worked with
mina ukuthi
yeah, and he actually ngumbheka manje ulevu ngumbheka manje ngoba he had this love for impahla. So it was easy to bring him in. Okay, the processing and the journey of the end result okuyi challenge ngoba yazi khona into e female khona into e male njalo ngaso sonke isikhathi, but it's in the training, and I think the experience of having him taught us a valuable lesson really ukuthi it's important to teach and to teach what you want to see delivered. I would into yakhe. Ngoba even with women too, you can have 10 women abanye into it differently. And abanye bazenza just so super great. Abanye while they like for Smalanka as long as it's done. So that's where we also saw the importance of teaching each and every process. Ukuthi wonke umuntu ayenze ngendlela eyi-one so that it doesn't change. So coming back again kulento ye presentation yomsebenzi wethu. Si strict ngalokho, and it speaks to the professionalism ye business too. Ngoba with this situation we had, no case. So our clients had to debut to other laundries around us. Wow. That's what I can say, wow. From cleanliness of the clothes to the packing of impahla, a presentation, like, we important how things look. We would go as far as mawupheki keep ama-whites wafaka with ama-blacks, some shades of blue, dark, light, but it just makes the thing look pretty. And umuntu makabona logo esithombeni, they would choose impahla nje ezihlele esofeni eziningi eziclean eziwashiwe ezibuyela elangeni zalahlelwa phansi neziphekiwe zafaka eplastikini. Already that makes you choose ukuthi imuphi umuntu ozoyabuya. Yabo. Okay, yes, it speaks to our clients too ngoba manje uthi uzafika umuntu athi as long as it's clean. Sithi no, you have to choose ukuthi ufuna wash and fold or wash and iron. Athi mina as long as it's clean. Things ukuthi they couldn't care less. Yabo. But then thina ngoba we know ukuthi umsebenzi wethu umuhle ngaleyo ndlela, it's not really a problem vele. Umsebenzi uzohamba kahle. But kuya counter lokho ukuthi i-end result umsebenzi njani. It speaks to your selling point. Ngoba it becomes a selling point at a later stage. Yeah.
So now customer lingenile she washing now. Okay, ngifuna wazi, okay, even if anichazanga, but I wanted to know how does the laundry move from the customer's hands to Nina and then to a customer selling to
at the end.
Whether uzoyitlanda or ne deliver. How does it look like? The process ithatha how long? Just want to know the duration.
Okay, so in terms of ukuthi zifike kuye, it depends on i volume esinayo yama laundries. So the process, the system that we use in AAQ. So if you figure kuna 2 laundries, you'll be 3. And then we are going to process it once we have done laser Z2. And we don't take impahla zama-client are different. Siyihlanganise sizwashe zonke. We don't do that. We handle laundry per client. And it's mainly for, like, I think wonke umuntu uba nento, like, preference yakhe ukuthi angathanda ukuthi yena impahla zakhe yabo zenziwe zizodwa. Yabo, it can be like spiritual, abanye nje ufisa abanye abantu bangcolile, then izinto zakhe bezizobe zinuka ismell salo muntu loyo, yabo. And then also in making sure ukuthi azilahleki, because you can imagine ukuthi ulesi skipper esirate omunye lesikipper esirate, we are not sure anymore ukuthi iskipper this esakabani. So it's so we handle it that way. Then when it comes through, we do a receipt. Sebenzisa WhatsApp, asibhali anything phansi, sebenzisa WhatsApp, we thola nge-WhatsApp. Then if it happens ukuthi i-laundry ibe more than a day with us, then you get like ama-updates nge-WhatsApp ukuthi okay, how far are we with the laundry. And then as soon as we are done now, then you'd get also communication from us. So it's either ke so sho okay, siza sizoyi-deliver, or uyeza ke uzonto uzoyilanda. In terms of from a client's perspective, that is how the process would work. And then ngaphakathi ke thina ke njoba ngishilo sizobe sihandlela i-laundry, one laundry at the time. Yabo. So I don't know, singa-add on that.
Other than ukuthi see the process itself, ukuthi how we process i-laundry, like ukuthi ngoba siba ne-challenge ukuthi sometimes abantu banale thinking of which mhlambe nathi we had it before we started, I don't know, ukuthi mawulethi washing laundry 2 minutes iphelile, iwomile uyayilanda ngoba ufika athi ngilande ngoba ngisikhathi awuthi yapiyas nama laundry 7, that means 4 days later, maybe even 4 yena ceda kwakha in. So kune element of educating abantu kakhulu lo, ngoba i-laundry ayikho instant and ayikho quick, ngoba one yabo amasayichaza Mpho into yokuthi for us ukuthi singamix up ama-laundry abantu, we have to process it per person's laundry, ngoba sisebenza njenge-dry clean where iskipper uzosiletha basifaka i-tag yakho, mhlawumbe ulethe iskipper ne-bro, thina kuzi-laundry like, but sometimes it goes as far as 30 kgs. We were processing 30 kgs the other day. So imagine if we were to sit down and spell client name, go on kilo savings, I think finally. So what's best is we treat it like you wouldn't yonke laundry yako, then we just sort it, texture, color, so forth, blacks, white.
I'm assuming now you process it at this catch.
Very. And then ngoba thina just isho ukuthi sinento ukuthi awuthi I skipper some ngiyazi ngisicweka i1 thing is pons. Thina we need to we pre-soak. Meaning we have to make sure ukuthi izinto ziba clean. We pre-soak, and pre-soaking we make sure ukuthi izinto afanelanga zibleed. So there's a process to that. 2 or 3, you making sure ukuthi izinto ziyawasheka clean. Focusing on the collars, the armpits, the stains, all those things. And then the last thing, ukuthi into ingene emshinini. And then there's the drying, of which drying it takes its own time. And there's the folding, if I'm not ironing, and if there's ironing, there's ironing. So we process your yinde. Yeah, but even if it's just one laundry, also yens, I'm going to like abruptly in our wedding. Yeah, and then nekuna into ukuthi ama levels okunola kwimpahla abanye ku mix washing yabantwana niyabo. So yeah, there's a lot of processes, and it's something that we have to continuously teach our customers. Ngoba thina we can't be rigorous in the things that we are doing. Kunezinto ezisheshayo ezidlana nama stains, we can't do that ngoba we have to consider ukumosheka kwempahla. Into my strong detergent to use ukuthi yashesha yasusa izinto, chances are iqeda ne fabric ya leyo nto le. So we need to get izinto ezi almost eco-friendly to the environment, to the clothes, to our staff, ngoba sometimes masokunuka yonke into nawo ngokwakho uzozibona so high. Yabo, or ugule ke for that matter, nje ugula ngoba amaphaphu akho are exposed to these harsh things. So it's important the supplies that we use, yabo, ama detergents that we use. So it speaks to taking care of the clothes and the well-being of our staff also, yabo. Abanye kunana amanye ama clients, they go as far as ama irritations on their skin. So it's important for us what type of detergents we use. So by the e-processing yona we try and make sure we explain, we take through the customer so that bangabi surprised with why we take so long, but we do take longer than they think bona we will take. Yeah.
So are there any, so now the client uhambile ulethile nemdeliverela or collectile, what are sort of challenges enizitholayo from feedback of customers, the typical ones nje, and that you think you also need mhlambe to improve on?
Our number one, it's turnaround time.
Okay, yeah.
Turnaround time.
Maybe
ngoba
which is perfect.
Yeah, capacity.
Yeah.
But Baba so angry for waiting, but they're so impressed with the cleanliness. But yes, it is a challenge. Ngamampela baba into ukuthi bazilinde, ba expect ukuzithola quick. Of which ke it's into esizamayo ukuthi si ngicabanga ukuthi into engaba number 1 in us not retaining our clients. Ngoba bangathi uyabheka, we've had ama walk-ins aningi. If those people are regulars, like ngabe sinama branches mhlawumbe ayi-20 already, but because people don't stay, they don't stick around ngoba sometimes they just can't wait that long. Yabo omunye uzomuza athi ngifuna ukuthi laundry yami but ngiyanazi ngithatha isikhathi eside, ngiyawuthanda umsebenzi wenu but so kahle challenge yethu kwamanje capacity. I-capacity yenza ukuthi vele sithathe longa ngoba we only have one machine, so that makes it almost impossible for us to process ama laundries amaningi at a time. Yabo ngoba sina le process ukuthi senza one siqede laundry 1, and the laundry 1 can mean 4 or 5 loads. Ngoba laundry aka mini load, mina loads which have to be processed, to be washed and go dry. And then that's a couple of hours in a day already, and we only have 9 hours operating in a day. And then again move on to the next one nalo yabo. So gonna go i-challenge kakhulu i-turnaround time, but i-service itself, we pride ourselves with that. We actually get 120%. Customer service yethu ngoba we make sure ukuthi we talkative, as you've seen. We are talkative and the attitude injalo ngoba we make sure ukuthi we just keep people posted. And then it's one of the things that we took away from e-corporate, when you just know what's going on with your thing, go better than not knowing do, and then later now you washing yabo. So we just tried abantu bazowazi ukuthi this is what you are going through. And they mind you with not only capacity, there's a load shedding, there's ukuhamba kwamanzi, there's ukuphuka komshini. Like snow to light machine kuminto. And it means we have to call someone to come fix it. That's a day away already. So it's just making sure it would actually be my advice for anyone or business. And no matter so qalile so ukhulile, look at the communication yakho. Always put yourself in your customer's shoes. Understand my frustrations so that you're not by forced. Ngoba you want to keep your customers happy, and that's the only reason they come back. But if they're frustrated now, then they're not going to come back. So always look at how can you. They'd rather be sick of you than not know what's going on now. So and I think we got it right. And it's just something enkanguthi yasebenzela nathi. Ngoba ama clients esiwasijwayele, they bring their laundry bakhohlwe yiyo and they're okay. Ngoba yazi mabayithola bazoyijabulela. But then it doesn't work for everyone. So i-challenge ke lapha ekutheni capacity has to grow. Because of that, it has to grow. So that will deliver much quicker.
Any other thing, any other last words? I'm looking at this card.
I don't know. In terms of our challenge, in terms of feedback from our clients, I think we are still on that. Enjoy when just mean as perfect. Ngakhohlwa usikonje stinging machine, like stinging machine, for us to be able to grow, for us to be able to turnaround time is even shorter than it is right now. Like I'm not gonna lie, if there's one thing that we need, sting a logo, and it ibeka futhi ne-strain growth yethu and even the money that we are able to make. So I think sine challenge kakhulu, not necessarily of clients, but we have a challenge of capacity and yoko enough for us to meet the demand that we currently have.
Any other last words? Comments?
I'm thinking
so,
sesivala.
So bayan reach out to kanjani? Based on your location. Number 1, located group.
Green Village. Green Village Soweto, si diagonal opposite ne clinic.
Right, so
if you think of it nje umuntu uhleli mhlambe Soweto or wherever la uhleli khona ungina idea ukuthi kuphi, we usually say we are between iKagiso ne Protea. Ngoba kungathi iGreen Village akusindawo yaziwayo. But if you know we Protea, then the next logishi yithi before you get to iKagiso. So that's where we are ngokwe geography. See lapho, and then but to be exact, say Green Village opposite clinic ke noma ngabe uyagoogle uyachecka ufuna location in the prime etholakala indawo, but ke being the professionals we are.
Bantu
Google
kanjani on social
my
media.
business, we are there. So umuntu ongasearch nje uthi nearest laundry about me, around me, or laundry in Green Village, particularly uzosithola. I think
and
because I
then
can take the handles.
Go Facebook uskona, nagu Instagram, and then also nagu TikTok. It's Bohloeki High.
Bohloeki High.
Yeah, Bohloeki High. So cleanliness at home. Bohloeki High.
It's really Kasiringa's podcast. Bafethu, if you like the episode, please like, share, and subscribe. Bayatholakala ke Bohloeki Soweto Green Village, ne? Yeah. So if you now need impahla zakho lapha ezingcolile unesokisi elinukayo, please lethe man. Bazodila nalo.
Let's surprise you.
So boy pigs and I'm out. Shapa moy.